So you go to Harbor Freight or somewhere and you buy one of these low dollar pressure blasters, and what kind of experience you're gonna have? Well, I've had decent ones in my life, and I bought this one just to do a few minor jobs, and as usual, the quality is really poor, but that doesn't mean that you can't have a positive experience with it. You just need to basically tune it up a little bit. So I'm gonna gloss over a lot of stuff. A lot of people ask, what type of compressor do you need? I use a Husky 30-gallon, 175 PSI compressor. Now, I don't know what the CFM is offhand, but it's not a ton. But you gotta remember, you're not gonna be, you're not gonna be sandblasting a truck. You're just gonna, I'm talking just for smaller jobs. That compressor will work. You just have to do a duty cycle with it. You're not gonna run it, for an hour and a half at a time. You're gonna run for three or 4 minutes, and then you're gonna have to wait until the compressor builds back up. If you do that, you'll be in pretty good shape. So, that being said, when you buy your sandblaster, it comes with some really crappy nozzles. And if you got the one I have, it's got the most cheap ass handle assembly. So I ordered an upgraded handle assembly for it, and I am working with that because it's just a lot better. Now when you get it, it comes with these smaller than 1/8 inch, I don't know where, oh, okay. Comes with itty bitty little holes. Okay, now the problem with that is no one uses a blaster this small and with a small CFM that this can handle to do soda blasting. Most people can't afford a lot of glass bead. The economical way to blast, if you're just doing metal brackets and stuff like that, is to use play sand that you can get at Home Depot for $4.79 for a 25-pound or 50-pound bag. That's the only way this makes sense. So what you're gonna learn in a hurry is, depending on which nozzle that you use, you're gonna hook your machine up and you're gonna hook the air to it, and you're gonna pull the trigger. In about 2 seconds, it's gonna clog up. And that means you gotta dump all your air pressure, you gotta take the nozzle off, you gotta get the piece of sand that was a little bit bigger than your orifice out of the hole, put it all back together, and put it together, and it's gonna happen again. In about 2 seconds, it's gonna clog up again. They have, I don't know what the small one is, because I'm just doing this to help you. I don't have a data, sitting all over. There's a very small nozzle that you would use for soda. There's a medium nozzle, which is 1/8, and there's one that's a 9/64, I believe, that's one step bigger than a 1/8. That's the one that I use. So I go to Home Depot, I buy a 50-pound bag of sand for $4.79. I bring it home, and I use a piece of screen. You get it's a standard heavy-duty screen, and I sift everything that goes into the sandblaster through that screen. You're gonna find like 2% of what's in that bag is too big to pass through the nozzle. So 2% of 1 billion grains of sand is a pretty large number of grains of sand. So to maximize your chance of having a good experience with a sandblaster, you sift it, and if you sift it carefully, you'll have a really good experience with this tool. I've bought a lot of different media. It's very expensive, and the play sand is absolutely the cheapest, and for most purposes, farm equipment, small bracketry, stuff on your car, you do not want to do body panels, you do not want to do anything that's delicate. It's a really good catch-all media. So I got the new upgraded end for mine. which is this. It was like $26 on Amazon. And then I got the smaller nozzles, these, to go in it. And then I actually ordered extra small nozzles. I got the 9/64ths for it. Now, you would think, well, heck, I'll just oversize them suckers with a drill bit. You cannot drill into these because they're ceramic and they're bake coated. You're not going to oversize it. Good news slash bad news is if you put sand through here, after a while it's going to erode and your clearance is going to open up as you sandblast. It's going to wear out the nozzle. Then you're not going to have as much a problem as wearing things out as when it's a new tip. So once it's blown out a little bit, you'll have a much easier time. Bad news is once it gets so big, one of the laws of physics is going to bite you in the ass, and as the nozzle gets bigger, the speed of the media coming out of it is going to reduce and its effectivity is going to reduce. So at first, it's going to go like hell, it's going to cut real good, you're going to be all happy, and then 15 minutes later, after you spell your compressor, 15 minutes later, you know, you're going to be not having quite as good of an experience. Also, another big thing, water, okay? Sand needs to be dry. When I bought mine from Best Buy, it was in the garden center, and it was damp. So if you bring damp sand and dump it into your sandblaster, it's going to clump up and you're going to have a very poor experience. So what you need to do is sit it in your house for probably a week and move it around so that your air conditioner wicks all the water out of it until it's dry. Once it's dry, sift it, keep it in a water-free area. Also, that's not the only place you're going to get moisture. When you have a compressor, a smaller one, you really need to spend some money in the water traps. Mine came with a little cheapo one that you push the bottom and it vents the water out. That'll do for most of it. But because I do paint, I got a 3 filter array, and I run it through the 3 filter array, so the air I get is very dry. But if it's really, there's a temper variant, you're going to have some moisture problems, and you're going to be throwing water into the area where the sand comes down, and it could cause you clumping. Another thing that happens both in gravity feed and pressure blasters is, you know, if you've ever seen a sinkhole, no one ever sees how a sinkhole happens, but I guarantee you a sinkhole happens by water rushing underground, and it hollows out a cavern, and then eventually it pops through the top, and then they call that a sinkhole. Your sandblaster, if it's not ideally set up, if your sand isn't really dry, if it's compacted a lot, it's going to get to a point where no sand comes out and your air has almost no sand in it. Never look down the nozzle. Never put your hand in front of it. Never poke anything down the nozzle. You really screw yourself up. So what you have to do is either shake it or kick it, or, and I don't recommend this for safety, but take what I do, because I'm stupid, is I'll take a mallet and tap it down low to shake the media down to where it will once again reintroduce to the airflow. I don't know if I can get you video of this process, because I really don't want to ruin my $500 camera by getting sand under pressure blown on the lenses. But at some point I'll see what I can do, because I tell you what, and this is from a lifetime mechanic, when pressure blasters work well, they are impressive. I just can't even put it into words. They are so impressive. You can sandblast a engine mount bracket or a piece of equipment, I mean right now, down to the metal, nice and shiny, right now. Rust, paint, doesn't matter, it's gone. So that's why I went through the effort to set my machine up to make my life easier. So dry air at least a 30-gallon compressor, sift your media, standard screen. It's like $10 for a whole roll of it at Home Depot, and you will have a much better experience with these tools. Plan on tightening screws. They're made so cheaply because they're made in Wing Dang Bing in China, and they're garbage. But for your home needs, it'll suffice if you understand its shortcomings. Anyhow, I hope this helped, and feel free to drop me a letter. I really don't care if you like it or not, because I'm not an influencer. But we'll go from there. So thanks for watching. Bye.